Hello and welcome to Journeys in Fandom, also known as Journeys in Oh God, what's gone on now?
We take a small hiatus and the world of fandom and just implodes in on itself.
Yep. Yeah, we thought we know what we'll do. We'll take a couple of weeks off. We'll have a little hiatus. We'll review SummerSlam. It'll be great. And then, yes. And here we are to review everything that's happened since the general election.
Yeah, which feels like an age ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, the general election was the 4th of July. It's now the 18th of August. We've been gone for 6 or 7 weeks. And things happened. Stuff changed.
Oh, yeah, stuff has changed, hasn't it?
Yeah. So normally we'd say, let's go to the news. But this entire episode is the news for the last God knows how many weeks. So... yeah, welcome to the news with Tim and Matt. I need paper to shuffle. Find me paper to shuffle, damn it.
Oh, yes, this is going to be a news recap episode where we'll just, what's the word? I can't think of a good adjective. We will sift through, as we're talking about paper, sift through what's been going on in the world of fandom, politics, everything that we talk about. It's just going to be a news-heavy episode.
We will plumb the depths of the cesspool that is the world.
Oh, Lord. It's not going to get too deep.
Hopefully not. We'll just be old men and shout at clouds. It'll be great.
Yeah, I've done some shouting at clouds recently, so I suppose it's
I'm sure there's some clouds we can shout at.
Yeah.
So, where do we want to start? What's happened?
Let's start with a fandom-related thing. We'll touch on politics as we get going, get up to speed.
Yeah.
So we've had San Diego Comic-Con and Disney D23, was it D24? I don't know what they call it.
Whatever it was.
And obviously, Comic-Con's not what it was since before lockdown.
Beginning times. Yeah.
But they did push some big announcements through that, namely what they're going to do with Marvel and the latest Hail Mary. Yeah, we'll touch on that in a minute as well. And then D23, Disney touched on the same things. And there were some other bits and pieces, but I've lost track. I didn't follow it that much, to be honest. I just had a quick look at it. So yeah, there's been a few things. And then Doctor Who was at Comic-Con as well, weren't they? First time in ages.
Yes.
Talking about the spin-off, amongst other things. Let's do that first, shall we?
Yeah, let's do the obvious one. I
have to admit, the title of the spin-off, I always think of something else. So the title's called, it's right, it's a war between the land and the sea. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
I always think of that Free Palestine song that all these protesters singing.
River to the Sea.
Yeah.
Oh,
every time I know, every time someone says it or someone asks me what the title is, I have to stop myself because that's been in the news so much over the last 6 months. No. It's this, not some really pro-Palestine kind of song. So yes, so that's confused me already. The fact that it's not anything to do with Middle East, it's actually about sea devils, isn't it? More specifically, the Silurians. I always get them mixed up, and I'll probably lose my Doctor Who badge. Silurians versus Unit.
Yes. It looks interesting. They've got some decent names attached to it, so it all looks exciting.
They've got, obviously, Gemma Redgrave in Unit. Russell Tovey not playing his previous character, playing somebody else. Mm-hmm. You've got, and I don't know how to pronounce the name, and I really apologise in advance. Is it Gugumabatha Raw? Is that how you pronounce the name? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not going to try.
She was in Loki, amongst other things. It took me ages to work out what she'd been in, and I was like, I'm going to have to Google it now. And the other Unit guy is in it as well. So, interesting. It's going to be environmentally heavy, so hopefully we're not going to get a preachy kind of series. It's actually quite good.
Yeah.
But it's the first of many.
Call me controversial,
Oh, you're never controversial.
No. But do I care? This is my eternal problem at the moment of just, cool, you're doing a spin-off. Do I care enough to watch it? And this is my issue I've been having for a long time. Like, you'll do a spin-off and you go, okay, does it need it? Does it need to exist? What's the audience? Do I want to watch it? What's going to make me watch it? What's going to bring me in?
It's I don't know. I stand corrected just reading the blurb on it. It is the Sea Devils, not the Silurians. Because the Sea Devils, you didn't see the Sea Devils. They were in the ill-fated 13th Doctor special that was Easter, and it was until recently the worst rate the episode with the worst ratings of modern Who, and it was rubbish. But I think it was because it was made during COVID, and B, they edited a load of it out or something. They did something and it was awful. But they were in that in a pirate ship, which is quite cool on.
Sea Devils and pirate ship had to get that wrong. Yeah.
But the Sea Devils were great. There's lots of hokey CGI and stuff like that. But yeah, I assume maybe we'll get the Silurians as well. You never know, but certainly the Sea Devils. I don't know. It's playing it safe, isn't it? They're not going. Yeah. They're not going heavy. They're going for something that is Earth-based. Doesn't involve any of major characters that we like. So like the ill-fated Rose spin-off. They're not doing anything like that. They're just going unit versus blah and leaving it like that. So it might be a play it safe, see what people think kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because I confess, ever since we took our hiatus, every news article I see is basically, has Disney given up on Doctor Who?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
And again, is it the algorithm teasing me, or is it just my phone listening to me, or listening to Jennings and Fandom? Who knows? But yeah, the amount of articles I've seen that are basically saying this is bad. Is it on its last legs? Who knows?
Yeah, I think there is loads of articles saying that ratings, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't in it was the American ratings specifically, that it wasn't in the Nielsen ratings and all that kind of stuff, and how Disney got rid of it. But then I saw one today and I didn't watch it, and I should have done it because it was on my scrolling saying Disney are actually pleased with it. And I was like, oh, where's that come from? And I didn't actually stop to listen to the video. But yeah, it's weird because they've already paid for two. I think they're going to wait until. I think they're going to wait until the second series before they make a decision. What else Doctor Who news? Oh, yes. Obviously, we talked about last time, didn't we, that Ncuti Gatwa is going to be at LFCC. I'm going to go and see him. There you go.
Ooh.
Because I've worked out.
So you're going to put hand in pocket and pay £1 million here to see him?
I've remortgaged my house to go and see him because I actually worked out it will be cheaper for me to go, and my son, so there's two of us, to go down in one day to London, see him with a diamond pass than it would be to pay for accommodation for two and food and everything else. So I'm determined to do it in one day.
That's fair.
So, yeah, because I actually sat there and, okay, it's expensive, don't get me wrong, and it's like, but he wants to see it. And I worked it out and I thought, if you add on decent food, I say decent accommodation, but like a Premier Inn style accommodation, because I'm
even those are a few £100 a night.
Yeah, and actually around that time, I don't know why, but it's really expensive. And then you got train. It's kind of like you kind of work it out. It was actually cheaper to do that, so I bought a diamond pass. And actually, when you buy it, it tells you what block you're in. So it's like you're in block. So obviously when the numbers are called, they're called in blocks. We're in block 5 out of 7. And bear in mind, that was released, I can't remember when I bought it. It wasn't long after. We talked about LFCC last time. And then after the podcast, that beginning of July, I plucked up the courage and I bought it after payday. And actually, they nearly sold out. We're in block 5 out of 7. So that goes to show his popularity.
Yeah,
I was quite surprised. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. I've never been in this kind of world before," but it kind of tells you where you are.
is it that FOMO? Because obviously, has he done many events? Is this the first?
First one ever, I think, that he's done, UK or US. So I suppose there is a collector's market for him. Don't get me wrong. There'll be people there that are buying to sell, if that makes sense, I would think.
Yes. Yeah, and obviously with the fact you've got to buy a pass, they're going to be expensive on the secondary market.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't go for the gold ticket to get in, because I figured if you've got a diamond pass and that's all you're really going to do, it doesn't really matter what time you get there. Get there early, don't get me wrong, but not going to get there. That kind of gives you that flexibility, because you know at what time the photos are going to run, what time the autographs are going to be. You can effectively plan your day around it, which kind of works quite well for a parent with child.
If you're just going to see a person, you can just go, right, I'm going to get there, I'm going to see this person come hell or high water, because I've got the diamond pass, so it is a guarantee.
Yeah, and I think happen. I can see, having looked at it now from a different view, the benefit of it. Yeah, because we're not interested in anybody else. We're going to do that and effectively go home. And you can see why people do it. If they want to go and see him, they can guarantee that and walk away. And I can understand, if you've got the money, and don't get me wrong, it's like, oh God, it's expensive. But in hindsight, when you start totaling it up, it's about the same price, if not, well, like I said, it's cheaper for us, because it's it's an interesting thing, but I won't do it again. It's just like,
I think like I've probably touched on before, my issue with it is, like, back in our day, here we go.
There we go.
When you wanted to see like 30 people, if you then needed like the diamond pass to see any of them, suddenly it becomes horrific. Like the Tenant one, I went, right, I am seeing him come hell or high water. And I can't remember if I had a gold pass or a press pass or some sort of. I think I even forked out for a gold pass just to guarantee I did it. But then I went, well, actually, I've got 29 other people on my list, and I will get round to them all over the course of the weekend. But yeah, the thought of, like, now, if you said, you need the platinum, diamond, ruby pass, whatever it is, it would make my bank account cry.
And you could sort of justify paying for one and not going to get any others. But like, spread over a weekend like we used to in the old days, you probably rack up, obviously, inflation and costs, but you probably rack up a fair bit of money on individual guests if you're going to see like say 30 odd, as opposed to just one. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like on the weekend and see how it pans out. But I was just really surprised that they were nearly sold out when I was like, ooh, this is quite interesting.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair. But then again, how many of them are there? Because if there's like 100 available and they're all in blocks of 15, quadruple massive ahead there. It's a case of, actually, how many of the
that's a good point.
Are there?
He's only there for one day, so they'll know how quickly they can get through people, because they've done it loads of times before. So they could probably work out that, it's going to be this amount of people during the day. So we can say we're going to sell 100 in each block. That's 5, that's 700. How much money that is a time? He must be charging. I don't know, actually. He will be charging his rate and they'll be making a profit on it. Because I think quite a lot of the negative YouTubers who, when this was first out, say, he's charging so many £100 for a thing, but I think what they didn't grasp was, he'll be charging a fee, but it's the organisers who are making a profit. So they'll be covering him, which it won't be cheap. I'm not being naive here, but they'll be making a big profit. And I think that's what these negative YouTubers did get, the fact that who's making a profit here? It's not him making a profit, it's the organisers making the profit.
And I think that's what people fail to understand, because they naively go, this person's charging 100 quid an autograph, he's making 100 quid an autograph. No, the organiser has paid him a fixed fee, or they're paying him a fee per signature, or whichever it is. But actually, then the organiser has got to go, well, I've got staffing times 1 million, I've got hall hire, I've got this, I've got that. Because actually hiring Earl's Court, or whatever it is, wherever it is now, Olympia, is not cheap.
No,
I know, like, where is it? NEC in Birmingham. that's like 80 grand for a hall. And you go, well, actually, yeah, there is an entry fee, but you've got to make that money back and make a profit on it to be a business. And this is what people kind of forget.
Yeah.
So it's such a difficult one to balance because, if it sells out, you make out like gangbusters. But if it doesn't, then that's a hell of an outlay.
Yeah, I think there was one video where someone was criticising it, saying, well, it's really expensive. Look, you spend £30 to talk to him because it said talk, £30. I was like, do I comment on his video and say, no, that's the talk that he gives and you're paying to enter the talk. You're not paying to talk to him. And actually, I forgot, that should be quite a good thing, actually. And in fact, we get free tickets to that. I'm quite up for that as a filler. But it's expensive, don't get me wrong. I probably wouldn't do it again, but we'll see. As an experience.
Because actually him on stage should be quite good with a massive asterisk beside it. As long as whoever's emceeing it is good.
I haven't seen one there for ages. So if the MC's a bit naff,
ropey,
I think that can make or break one of those talks. If you've got someone who A, hasn't done the homework, or B is just really B is quite sort of like in awe of the person and doesn't lead the conversation, or C is just rubbish. Hopefully they won't do that.
And that's the thing. They've got enough access to talented people who can do a good talk. Yes. And I think this is the key thing. You've got to, like you said, be able to lead that conversation with someone who is a big personality. Because otherwise it's going to go all over the show. Yeah. And I think as long as a talk is a talk, and you keep the Q&A to a sensible level, because actually, if you get too much, what's your favourite cereal? That sort of question. But you need someone who's going to go, actually, tell us what you thought of this. What about career? What happened when you found out? Why choose it? Yada, yada, yada. And actually make it a broad talk, not a, what's Doctor Who like? Have you met David Tennant? Was he cool?
Yeah.
Because this is the problem. Yeah.
I think I find with those talks, it's less about the Doctor Who or the subject is normally better. You find out a lot about the person and stuff like that, which is always quite nice.
Yeah, for sure. So that's Doctor Who in general and LFCC. This is two top points of our talking list.
Yep. I can't think of anything else Doctor Who related that springs to mind. No, it's gone. Nothing else. What next? I went to the cinema 3 times in 1 week. Get that.
3 times in 1 week?
Yeah,
oh my
it's more
God.
than I do in a
Who
year.
Are you? Yeah.
I had no child.
What have you done with Tim?
Yes, and I went to the cinema 3 times.
Well, Tim, what did you see at the cinema?
Deadpool and Wolverine, Borderlands.
Excellent. Not excellent.
Trap.
Pass. Don't know.
Oh, okay. So go backwards. So Trap is... It's actually really good. It's worth a watch. It's Josh Hartnett is playing a serial killer who takes his daughter...
Oh, that's the... Yes, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it is really good. It is really good, I have to admit. He's creepy in it. And it's this kind of dual personality where he's trying to escape and he's trying to get out, but he's got his daughter there and he keeps having to flip personalities, and it's really kind of clever how it kind of plays out and how the story revolves with him trying to kind of escape. So it's really good film. It's worth it. It was kind of these things. Oh, I like this trailer for that, and it was on. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go see that as well. So it's definitely worth a watch at some point.
Might have to drag the girlfriend to go and see that then, if it's still on.
No, it's good. It's good. It's kind of, and the ending's kind of like, oh, that's interesting. So it kind of pans out all right.
Excellent. Borderlands.
Well, I played the game for years. We played the game so many times, so I felt I had to go out of loyalty, and the fact that I had the opportunity to go is like, okay, I'm going to go and see it. Obviously, we know it got awful reviews and it's bombed and it's the worst film ever.
It's been panned, hasn't it? It's just been obliterated.
It wasn't good, but I didn't think it was as bad as people have made out, but it was bad, if that makes sense. So for me, I think my biggest criticism was they had a perfect story in the first Borderlands game that, okay, they need to flesh it out a bit, but they could have just done that and it would have worked. The visuals were quite good. It felt like Pandora, ignoring some of the crappy CGI, but we get that with lots of films. It felt like Pandora, and they seem to have done quite a good job of that. The casting was all miscast. I think Cate Blanchett was okay, but she shouldn't have been the lead character, because Lilith never was the lead character in the first game, really. And she would have been done better in a proper team, going back to my original point of doing a team-based Borderlands film, because why they didn't do that, I don't know. So that kind of ruined it. There was some good kind of in-film things. Oh, yeah, that's quite cool. Yeah, it's quite cool. I think the biggest thing for me is they revolve the story around Tiny Tina. Now, if you play the game, Tiny Tina is a peripheral character, but she's written in such a way that the reason who she is, why she is part of her backstory. And what they did, they took the character in visual and name only, and then made her a completely different character. And it's like, that's completely, and the actress was shit. I'm sorry, she was awful. And that ruined.
I know from my sort of watching of like Zero Punctuation stuff like that Tiny Tina gets her own spin-off game, which is like Borderlands does D&D, like in a random thing.
Basically, she's, long story short, she's a abandoned kid on Pandora, and she witnessed her parents being tortured to death, which makes her unhinged. And that's the whole point in her character. She's completely unhinged because what she witnessed as a child. And then they just completely discounted that and went for some other convoluted story, which was rubbish. They should have just done the original team. Kevin Hart, I like Kevin Hart, badly cast in it. Roland needs to be a buff soldier. We know they talk about him being short, but no, badly cast. Krieg was all right, but Krieg doesn't sit with that group. Krieg is a DLC character in Borderlands 3, I think it was. They should have had the original team looking for the vault, and it would have worked, but they just messed with it. And I don't know why they messed with it. A lot of people said, it needs to be R-rated, Yeah, fair enough. Not really that fussed about it. It could have worked being, whatever it was, a 12. But they just ruined it with bad story. But yeah, it's just, I feel sorry for it, because Borderlands 1, the game was okay. Borderlands 2 was amazing. Now, it's not going to get a sequel, but if they world set it and done Borderlands 2, followed the game Borderlands 2, it would be awesome. But they're not going to do it now. It's lost it. And I feel sorry for it, because it would be a great film if they'd done it right.
So on the Madame Web scale of how bad it was,
it's not as bad as Madame Web. I think people have forgotten about how bad Madame Web was. At least it was paint by numbers. You could work out what was going to happen. It was basic. It wasn't bad editing like Madame Web. It was just really mediocre, and it could have been a lot better, I think. And it was okay. I didn't feel like I'd wasted my money going to see it, because I go out of loyalty, but it's not going to get a sequel. Enough. Yeah.
Because, what's his face? Jack Black was Claptrap, was it?
Yeah. Again, they should have kept the voice from the game, because it's a CGI Claptrap. Why they didn't keep the same voice? It's like Sonic the Hedgehog. They kept the same voice for Tails. The same voice actress played Tails. Why they didn't just keep the same person as Claptrap? Why they had to shoehorn Jack Black into it just because he's a star? Claptrap was all right, actually, but it needed that proper voice in it. It would have worked better. And a lot of the other peripheral characters weren't in it for very long. So Moxie and the other characters were in it, but unless you knew who they were, you didn't really know who they were. So computer games, I'm trying to think of a good computer game film. Mortal Kombat, the one that was out recently, I think there's a sequel coming out next year. That was all right. Street Fighter's awesome. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Street Fighter can do no wrong. I will die on that hill.
Yeah. So it'll probably make people think twice about doing video game stuff in the future. I think the thing is, what they tried to do, I think one of the excuses was make a story that appealed to non-fans. But the thing is, it had such a rabid fan base that once you detach what makes it good for gamers, people get really angry with that. And I think they forget sometimes that this is why people like it, and it has a certain style and character that once you just take that away, what you're left with is not a lot.
Yeah, and surely if you have a fan base that have disposable income, that is a license to print money. Yeah. Dear fan base, here's for the thing you like. Give us your money, please.
Yeah.
Rather than, dear non-fans, here's something you might like. Please maybe give me your money.
Yeah.
Dear fans, we don't like it.
That's the example of where that method doesn't work, where they try to mainstream something and it doesn't work. So essays will be written about that failure, I think, in years to come, because
that's fair. And then we've got the other film.
Oh, on the other side of the spectrum. Yes. Yeah. Deadpool Wolverine. Yes. How good was that?
Oh, it was beautiful.
I think my thing was, amongst everything else they did right, they actually made a Marvel Multiverse film that made sense.
Yes.
And it was Deadpool that made sense of it. And you think, it doesn't work. They just, every multiverse nonsense that they've tried to get, and it's always so confusing, that just made sense. It was super simple and it made sense. And you just go, okay, you had a villain in it who I thought was going to get shoehorned in with no reason. She made sense. They had a storyline that made sense. And it was like, okay, this is what they're going to do. This makes sense. Everything else, they've just been faffing about with the multiverse. At least this worked.
Yeah, that was the thing. I went, this is a movie with a plot that actually is sensible, and it's Deadpool, the least sensible thing in the world. How is this a thing?
I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't think it was going to work. And
it was literally, let's just tick every box. I went, they're done. Tick, happy, sweet, perfect, lovely.
No, it's really good. Where should we start? Well, obviously, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are great. I've watched so many clips of them doing the interviews and stuff. They're both genuinely nice guys, and actually, you can see Hugh Jackman actually loves doing it.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing. You have people making a movie because they want to make a movie rather than you have an idea, we want to generate money. No, you're going to generate money as a byproduct of having a good idea and doing it properly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what lots of studios forget. You go, here's a sequel to the thing you liked. Cool, no one cares. Here's a sequel to the thing you liked because they want to make a sequel that's really good. And then like some of the jokes, you just go, that took 6 years to set up. But there's literally like a one line, and you go, here's the reference to it.
The biggest joke that I didn't realise is, do you understand the NSYNC music number at the start, where that came from?
It was the Celine Dion reference, isn't it? Where they're turning up to 11, you go, it only does 11. He goes, I should have done NSYNC next time.
And also the actual song was played in X-Men, the first one.
It's on the. Yes,
and
it's on the.
Wolverine
radio.
says and he changes it and says, "I hate it." And you just how many years? That's like 20 or 30 years, something like that. It's like, that's just amazing. Little references like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Every little thing you went, this just works. Like, obviously, spoilers.
Spoilers, everybody. If you haven't watched it, what are you doing?
Yeah. Who hasn't seen this movie yet? Chris Evans as bloody Johnny Storm. I went, what?
that was the only thing that I accidentally saw, because I hadn't seen it when it came out, and my TikTok scrolling habits, unlike YouTube, you just come across it and you're like, it's too late, I've seen this, and that was the only one that I saw an image of. It was him with the Fantastic Four, so I knew that one was coming, but everything else was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. And I confess, I saw it a week after it came out. And that week, I went, I've managed to avoid everything. This is good. Literally, the day after, my entire feed was just, here's every spoiler. I went, my phone is listening to the cinema, I'm sure of it.
I think there was a little bit of an embargo lift at some point because it all started like the interviews with Wesley Snipes started to dribble out after about 2 weeks. But the thing is, someone said to me, about the cameos. I said, well, they're not cameos. There was only actually one cameo, really. The rest were full-on parts. So Henry Cavill, awesome, was the only actual cameo in it. All the rest had long speaking parts.
Yes. And the Cavalry was just, chef's kiss.
And they even
loads his arms up. Yeah. I went, I'm here for this.
Because I saw it, and it was so quick that I thought, did he do the arms? And then I saw the interview, and he said that they wanted him to do the arms again.
Yeah, and he injects the claws with the arms. You went, I'm so here for this.
I really hope he gets that, really, because that would just be it'll be two fingers up to DC, but also he just looks he genuinely is like Hugh Jackman version 2 in it because he's so jacked all the time. He'd be great.
He's just huge. He's just enormous, and I love him. And I just looked and went, this is good. And again, all of the returning characters, you go, this is just good.
Because obviously, Channing Tatum, I was just like, And he there's an interview with him I watched not long ago where he was approached by Ryan Reynolds to do it. And he was like, "What, really?" And he was really chuffed to be able to do it because it's one of his passion projects. And he said he trained for hours to do all the stunts himself. And I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
And same with Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes slimmed down and got into shape for that role. And you just say these people actually have got a thing for these parts because Wesley Snipes notoriously didn't get on with Ryan Reynolds from Blade 3, but they kind of made up for it. And I thought, it's quite nice as well.
Do you think, on topic but off topic, is Blade actually going to become a movie? Because that throwaway line in Deadpool is going, one blade and it will be one blade. And you go, ooh, that cuts. Yeah.
Genuine. There was one rumour floating about last week that Wesley Snipes ingratiated him so much that they might actually turn to him if it all falls apart. Because the guy's name, the actor, who was going to play Blade, I think there's been some interviews where he's kind of said, I can't wait forever.
Yeah.
I've got other roles, I'm going to go and do it. Because that all got messed up, didn't it? Because there was all these rumours that it was basically not going to be Blade in the film at all. It's going to be his daughter in the MCU rewrite. He was going to get sidelined for his daughter, and they've kind of backtracked on that now, and it's not even been filmed, has it? So I wouldn't be surprised if they can it and then bring Wesley Snipes back and do a fourth one.
Because there's talks of like an old man Blade, just sort of so many things, like a proper send off. But you just go, oh God! And again, him coming back as Blade set all his records, didn't it? It was just like the longest
service, Marvel Universe character is to him, and it's just like because Blade 2 is still one of my favourite movies. It's such a good film.
And like Blade 1, you just go, that's just
even the third one was good. But the story was a bit hokey and Dracula was rubbish, but it was, for its time, it was also, I remember going to cinema to see Blade 2. That is just such a good film. So who knows with that? As Gambit, I hope he comes back. I hope he gets a chance to do it because there's so many memes with him in now. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And that voice, that's proper. It's like the whole I Am Jeff all over again, isn't it? You go, I am so here for this. Please just let this man do his thing.
And like I said earlier, even Cassandra Nova, she was great as the villain. And they didn't just have like a two-dimensional villain who was just there to kind of push the story along. She was good. It made sense what she was doing. It linked into the whole TVA stuff, like it or loathe it. I don't like it. And her powers was great in the sense of the hand in the head. I thought that the visual effects of that were brilliant. So she was great. I was like, I came out thinking, I want to see more of her because that was really good. And her performance was really understated, but it kind of worked.
And like the trailer misdirects and stuff like that, where you got the Wolverine squaring for like Sabretooth and going, this is going to be the fight. And he goes, no, one shot, done, sorted. And you go,
there's just little things like that.
Having X-23 back was brilliant, and the whole Madonna like a prayer. I went, oh,
that fight scene at the end, because it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, where they did the music really well in that, and it was all done to music. And even though I knew like the prayer was coming, that whole final act where they just kill all the Deadpools was just genius. And then it just worked so well. Yeah, and like the whole thing was saying, if you do this, you'll just be disintegrated, like the molecular level kind of thing. And then the two of them just touch, and suddenly just a shirt blows off, and everyone went, "Oh God, we're here for this." Yeah, it was just It was good. It was very, very well done. And I confess, I haven't sat through a film and got to the end of it and just gone, "Yes, please, more of that." No, in my face. It's taken it's been a long time since I've sat through a film and enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah, I think probably the last one was Endgame, if I'm honest. Obviously, I don't go to cinema that often anymore now anyway, or even just watching at home. There's rarely where I sit down and come out and go, I liked all of that. I could watch that again now. And that was definitely one of it. Yeah. One of them, definitely. It lived up to the hype. And even like the end credits scene where it's like the love letter to Fox. Oh, that was really nice. Wasn't it? Oh God! Right in childhood. I went, you hurt me. I was second year at uni, first year at uni when the first X-Men film. I remember the hype for it. But it was just really nice to see all those kind of how young everybody looked more than anything else. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. It hit me in the childhood, and I went, I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. But it was just good. And that's the thing, because the fear is, do you go too silly? Like, just is it going to go OTT? And they went, no, they've kept the TT-ness. They've it made TT, sense, not OTT, and it was serious enough with those bouts of humour that just worked. And I think it's because Ryan Reynolds gets Deadpool. He understands it. Obviously, Hugh Jackman understands Wolverine, and together they just work really well. And it flowed really well as well. So it wasn't a kind of jerking from left to right. They understood the assignment, as the old joke goes. Well, it's like even with Nice Paul, where he's going, he just turns to the camera and goes, "The proposal. See, I can gently tap the 442." And everyone go, "No, that is not what I do. I do not make just references. I actually make a point." And you go, "Yes, just perfect." Yeah, I love it. Good, very, very good. I confess. So, while we're on the cinema topic, before we jump back to Marvel, I am going to go to the cinema again. I might go with my partner. I might be going on my own. But they are remaking, redoing, reimagining The Crow. Oh, good God, no. That film. This is a formative film in my years. And the thing is, don't give them money. No. I hate it so much. I need to watch it in a cinema to shout at it the entire time. I cannot contain my rage to a TV screen. I need to sit in a cinema and hate it for 2 hours in person. 3 films. Which trailer was on all 3 of them? That was 3 times I've seen that trailer in a week. Yeah. And I just hate it more and more every time I see it. The thing is, I'm so angry I need to pay to watch the film to fully let my rage out. I'm not sure I can contain it otherwise. Because I'm going... Basically, if they turn around and say, "Hello, my name's Eric Draven, I am going to burn the cinema down," and find whoever made it and hurt them. There's very few films. If they just give it this random character name, it's fine because it's a different fucking story. No, it's that they've reimagined. It's not like Crow 2, and I think it was a third one, wasn't there? Yeah. No, it's a remake. He is the same character. I've seen the trailer 3 times. It's the same premise with the same name of the girlfriend. Yeah. And it just looks shite. I have a hate boner so strong for this that I just need to hurt it. I need to fully let out the rage. So, to be fair, it's a film I hadn't seen for ages, so it has motivated me to actually probably get me disc out and go and watch it again. But I think that's the thing. If it does anything other than send people to watch the good one, then there's very few films that you should remake, and that is one of them. Because I think it's because obviously what happened to Brandon Lee, it's got this mystique about it anyway. But it's just perfect, and it doesn't.
It was a cursed production, yeah.
Oh yeah, across the board, so many things weird about it and stuff like that. But it's the fact is, it's one of these things you shouldn't touch. I'm trying to think of other films that you shouldn't remake and shouldn't touch, but didn't need a sequel. I know they did sequels, but and this thing's been stuck in development hell for years. Can't think why. Leave it alone. It was perfect as a film on its own.
Yeah, I need to watch it in the cinema, and I need to hate it for however long it is. I need to just sit there and glare at it.
We might have to do
and just fully let out the rage. Yeah,
it's very few things I want to burn with fire, and that is one of them.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I've never been so angry about the idea of a film. I'm going, I need to pay to watch this film and just be angry for 2 hours or however long it is, because I hate it so much already. And that's the thing. If I come out of it and go, that wasn't bad, I will be disappointed in myself.
No, you would have sold out if you like it, because the whole
if Cineworld if Cineworld is still standing when that film is finished, I would have let myself down. I would have failed as a human being. Yeah, that building is going to be destroyed.
Just for anybody listening, we are not, especially what's going on in this country, we are not condoning any form of violence. If the Thought Police are listening to this, he is not going to burn down. This is purely a freedom of speech. Please watch our other episodes and you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah. This is comically over the top, Matt, rather than an actual guarantee and a promise. So angry.
Yes, The Crow. Leave it alone.
Yeah. Just why? So back to Marvel.
Yes. So obviously at Comic-Con they announced that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doctor Doom.
So much speculation.
Well, my initial reaction was, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
If it's purely that he is going to be Doctor Doom, we'll call him Doctor Doom Prime, because I can't think of a better phrase. That's the wrong idea, because it feels like it's cheap casting, shock. What did you call it once before?
Stunt castings are highest caliber.
Stunt casting, because they haven't got anything else and they're panicking.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to rewrite Kang Dynasty, that so it's Doctor Doom. So there's going to be lots of Doctor Doom, because originally Kang was going to become the Beyonder for Secret Wars, supposedly. Well, obviously Doom did that originally in the comics, so obviously they're going to flip it back to that. The one saving grace style rumor that I've heard multiple times is actually he won't be playing Doctor Doom Prime. He'll be playing some other Doctor Doom. And there's rumors that there was a comic where Doctor Doom and
there is
Iron Man swaps, and it's going to be something along those lines. And actually, I've read this multiple times from different sources that they're pursuing Viggo Mortensen to play Doctor Doom Prime.
Ooh.
Because of he's one of the very few actors very skilled in different languages, because they want him to be unique, which would be really good. Obviously that's kind of fan casting anyway, but if he ends up being the number one supervillain, I think that's a bad idea on multiple levels. Even if he ends up not being that one, someone said, oh yeah, but he'll become this Doctor Doom who redeems himself. No, because that good Robert Downey Jr. character has died, and you'll just undermine that entire thing. The only thing that's saving grace is the Russo brothers are directing now, so it might be good, but I really don't want him to be Doctor Doom Prime, because I think it's shit. It needs to be, if that's all they've got. Obviously they've done it because they're panicking, because besides Deadpool, the whole universe is in the toilet. Yeah, and they're looking for a shock announcement and B, something else. But the thing is, the fact they didn't do any quick Q&A, nothing else, they just announced it, kind of smells a bit like, ooh, look over here, while over here they're doing something else.
Yeah. I honestly hope it is distraction casting. Yeah. Because actually, you announce, like you said, you announce the left, and then suddenly over here you go, oh, you didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the thing. Yeah. It will be
saving grace.
Yeah. And I think that will be really cleverly done if they do it. If it is just, hi, I'm Doom, then dear Marvel, behave yourselves. But
because it's 2026 is when that's coming out. And the thing is, someone else pointed out, is they can't afford him anymore because he can't do multiple films because he commands such a high figure now. Because when he signed up for Tony Stark, it was a multi-film deal when he wasn't that famous, but now he's super famous from that role. He's commanding a massive salary. So that'll be, I don't know. Doctor Doom's such a massive character. I think he's badly cast to be Doctor Doom. I really do. I'll be surprised if he surprises me and he's actually quite good, but I just don't see him as Doctor Doom. Just doesn't.
And I think if you see that recognisable face, I don't know.
Multiverse again, and I think part of me actually hates the multiverse still, even after Deadpool. I just can't stand it because it was bad in the comics because it's confusing for people who are trying to get into it, and it's lazy because there's always some way someone's always going to come back to life. Or the variant thing is just boring now. I'm getting tired of variants. It's just like if they'd gone with the next phases have gone space for Marvel, proper into Kree and Skrull and all that kind of stuff in space, rather than done this multiverse thing, I think it would have been a lot better. But what do I know?
Yeah, if only we had a crystal ball, it would have been in a travel in time. Where's the time when you need one?
The other thing at Comic-Con was the Fantastic Four trailer was leaked, which I've seen because it was dropped on YouTube for a while.
Yeah.
It's all going to be based in a separate universe, which is annoying me. That looks like the 1950s, like the comics.
Yeah.
So they're going to be all
because they show the car, don't they?
Yeah, it's like the Jetsons, all that kind of spacey age stuff, like the comics were originally. Why can't just do Fantastic Four on Earth normal?
But the problem is they need to put it in the MCU, so they need to do it off-world and then merge it at the end with some wimey garbage.
It looks quirky, but have they gone too quirky with it? I don't know. We'll see.
And again, like going back to Avengers versus Doom, you would actually are you going to bring in things like X-Men? And there's talks of like for Secret Wars of like half the people from Deadpool coming back for that. And you go, I just don't know anymore because it's so speculative. You go, Christ, you could have 100 people in this cast or no one. Who knows anymore?
Because there was the Captain America trailer, wasn't there, where they've confirmed the rumor that's been going around for ages that they're going to use the Celestial is going to contain or is made of adamantium. So that's why they're going to get. That's one of the mission in it is to get adamantium. So obviously that's going to wheel in Weapon X and Wolverine at some point. But how they're going to integrate the X-Men into that universe? I don't want it to be. See, this is where it gets lazy. If they just suddenly say, "Oh, we're going to take the X-Men from this universe and put them into this one," why they can't just do a story based on our Earth with all the characters that we like in it? It's got far too lazy since they've gone multiverse.
Yeah. And again, like with Magneto, if you're going to bring someone like that into it, his whole story is
based out of the Second World War. That's what makes Magneto Magneto, and you can't shoehorn someone like that in. And they can't be that, because it was touched on in the Ms. Marvel thing about mutations in people's blood and stuff like that, and that's possibly why she got her powers from those bracelets. I can't remember the thing, but there was a point in the story where the X-Men cartoon theme played very quickly. Yeah. And it was like, oh, there's a reference. But no, because, the whole point, the origin of a lot of the X-Men is based on events that happened years ago. Obviously, ignoring how you're going to get Magneto, but I suppose mutation, age and stuff like that, it would still work. But I don't know. I'm still worried that it's going to stink.
Yeah, that's the thing. Have you built such a large house that the foundations are just going to give up with everything that you're going to pile on top of it? So again, with a shared universe, you go, okay, what is in my shared universe? As soon as you start bolting more bits on, suddenly it just gives up under its own weight and just collapses in itself.
Yeah. Because we've got, what else? TV shows. Oh, Agatha, the TV show that no one asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daredevil, which is going back to basics, like trying to be like Netflix Daredevil. I'll believe it when I see it. Thunderbolts, which looks shite. We talked about that before. It's going to be rubbish. They've renewed X-Men 97. I just finished watching that, actually. The cartoon is really good. Yeah. I have to admit, it is really good. It's worth a watch.
Again, I have the issue of I haven't got Disney Plus, so none of it matters to me. And I think, like we touched on with our streaming episodes and stuff, this is half of our problem. You go, where can I watch this? On a streaming service. Do I have it? No. Then it all means nothing to me.
Fair enough. And we've got Ironheart.
God of War.
Yeah, another TV series that we didn't ask for. But there we go. So I think that's all the announcements.
They're also meant to be a young Wakanda thing as well, where they might then recast what's his name and have a Black Panther 7.
Oh, was it not? Did I read that somewhere it's going to be about his father, or am I getting that confused with
I don't know.
The Lion King prequel? I might be getting confused. Yeah,
or faster, whatever his name is. I'm so lost.
It's a cat, and it's in Africa.
Yeah, but I saw a story that said Shiri, whatever her name is, and what's her face, the leader of the. I don't even know what they're called anymore. Go back in time and then train the young. Yeah, I went. Oh God, make it. Just stop it. Just behave.
I'm just scrolling while we're talking. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it all sounds terrible.
Hello. Yeah. Oh no, it's an animated Wakandan thing. Apparently.
Yes, that's the thing. I think. Yeah. Apparently, two of them go back in time and train a young version who then takes over, and you go, I don't know anymore. I just don't.
Why not?
Yeah, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. What else? So we've touched on Marvel. We've touched on D23 or 4, whatever it is. We've talked about Comic-Con. We've talked about LFCC. We've talked about Doctor Who. What else has happened?
Let's talk about politics.
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
Did you do SummerSlam first? That was good.
Yes, it was good.
Well, I say good.
It was. Every match was good. It had a decent story to it, and it kind of flowed.
I don't like Nia Jax. I've tried. I just don't like her.
Well, you know why she's where she is. Because she's a cousin of The Rock.
Yeah.
That's the only reason she's there. That is the only reason she is there. And it was quite hit home when she hugged The Rock's mother in the crowd after she'd hugged her own mother. It's like, that's obviously why she's got that job. That's why The Rock's daughter is the general manager of NXT. It's quite obvious. I don't know. Nia Jax looks dangerous. That's what I don't know how much of that is protected and how much of that is like, oh my lord.
Yeah, there's a few times I looked and went, oh, this is not good.
Because when Yokozuna used to do the bonsai drop, you could see he was protecting it. But when she does it on some of those tiny little female wrestlers, you think, oh my lord.
Yeah.
Is that... Yeah, are they selling that really well, or have they just been absolutely squashed?
Yeah. There was times in that match I just went, she doesn't seem to move naturally, if that makes sense. Because we're going, she's a big lass. She's a powerful woman, but you can see it when she's moving that it is not looking as fluid as it should. And you go, oh, I don't like it. It worries me. Like I said, I thought all the other matches were great. I thought Rhea and Liv was cool.
I love that.
The storyline was superb.
They walked down the ring and I said to my son, he's going to walk out with the blonde girl. He's like, how do you know that? I said, my wrestling spider senses are tingling. It's so obvious it was going to happen, and it did. I was like, yes, because we like
the whole match when it started. They said, "Oh yeah, she's back from shoulder injury." We went, "Yep, shoulder injury, totally." And then when she's going, "Oh, it's out," and I looked and went, "I've seen Lethal Weapon. I know exactly what you're going to do in a minute."
Yeah, it was very
and she did.
done.
Went, "Oh, I'm here for this." Yeah, I went, "I'm here for this completely."
The story of that match was great, and they played blinder with that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we said, all the matches were just solid. I thought all, like we said, all the matches were good. The only one that I felt let down by was the main event.
Interesting. I think it was Sorry, go ahead.
It was WrestleMania again.
It was only really there to serve the return of Roman Reigns. That's really what its sole purpose was to do, was just to forward that storyline, the Bloodline storyline has been going on for how many years now, which is just brilliant. When you're right, it was a carbon copy of WrestleMania but smaller. But you just knew that was the only purpose, was just to get him into that storyline. And there were some really, really nice touches, even though it has continued this week, where they've obviously been booking Jacob Fatu, which I prophesied in this podcast many weeks ago, who is absolutely awesome as being a complete badass. And the way he was injured kept him out of the way, so that when Roman Reigns returned, there wasn't any kind of showdown, which happened this Friday. And complete with walking boot, Jacob Fatu absolutely destroyed Roman Reigns, which was awesome. But that pop when Roman Reigns' music hit, the place just went ballistic.
Yeah. I think the main event, in my humble view, went too long.
Because I think did to a certain extent,
I think like some of those moves, I went, no, these people are dead. They are not kicking out of these moves by this point. And you go, oh God, now someone else has turned up. He went, no, it could have been 5-10 minutes shorter, and it would have been more believable. Because at some point you've gone, that guy has taken such a beating. They are not kicking out in 6 weeks' time, let alone after a 3 count. They're out for the rest of the night.
They could have cut out Owens and Randy Orton coming out to their music, because that obviously slowed things down, and just had them come through the crowd. That would have been more. It would have cut that little. It would have created a bit more urgency to it. But no, it was good. I like Solo. I do like Solo as well. I think he's great, and he's really come along. And you just think, he's good. So no idea where that storyline's going to go. So obviously Roman got destroyed this week. I'm predicting. See, I'll do my Bloodline prediction hat. We're going to get a War Games match, and it will be Solo, Fatu, and the 2 Tongans. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 against Roman Reigns, the Usos. I had thought about Sami Zayn, because that would be a nice story, but I still think Brock Lesnar's got a part to play in this somewhere, because it's cooled off enough. And I think they had an interview with they spoke to Triple H might have been after SummerSlam actually, and they said, "What about Brock?" And he openly said he can come back when he wants, but Brock's being Brock, so he's quite. I think that's cooled down enough now that he could come back. And obviously the link with Paul Heyman. And if you've got Jacob Fatu, who is unstoppable, who does Paul Heyman call a favour in? You bring in Brock Lesnar to neutralise him in a War Games match. Should just be awesome. Yeah.
And I think this is the thing, is Brock overly tainted? And you go, well, actually, if they can get him back just for that one and just go full beast and just have a big angry men bashing the shit out of each other.
And then there's also, to be
fair, that's what we want. Yeah,
we've got The Rock, who has not been involved in this at all, like him or loathe him. He will appear again around WrestleMania time. Is he going to face Cody? We don't know. Is he going to get involved in this? We don't know. Is he pulling the strings behind the scene? We don't know. Is he going to bring his own faction? We don't know. I think the Bloodline story could easily run another year, to next summer.
Are we going to get Roman versus Rock? The match you wanted the first time round.
Yeah, exactly. That could easily be WrestleMania. It could be WrestleMania the year after next.
Yeah.
There's so many options, and I think this is the thing with WWE now. Their writing and their storylines are just so good, and it's so many plans, so many months, weeks, years in advance that you just think, this is really good. This is nothing like what Vince McMahon used to do. He used to change his mind every week. This is perfect storylining, and it's running all the way through.
Long-term storytelling, isn't it?
It's like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. CM Punk gets injured, and you think, oh, that's going to really cause a problem. It's actually turned out for the best, because Drew McIntyre is amazing now. Where the hell did he come from? He's been like just spinning his wheels for years. Suddenly you've got this blood feud between him and also Rollins kind of floating around.
I thought Rollins was hilarious as a ref. That was beautiful.
But the blood feud between those two could last, again, another year. It's so good. And CM Punk hasn't even interacted with Roman Reigns yet. He's not even interacted with anybody else yet. He's only really been Rollins, then he got injured, so he's still got a lot of scope left. There's a lot of talk about him facing Stone Cold, because Stone Cold has posted an image on his Instagram or something showing how in shape he was, and he had an interview saying the reason why he didn't do Philadelphia last year because he had family plans and he really would love to be there, but he said, I'm free and it's in Las Vegas next year, might turn up, and you just think, so that might happen, because that was always the match.
Could you imagine a pop if that happened?
Yeah, so there's all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, really good. WWE's on fire with some of the stuff they're doing. You just think this is planning, whereas AEW's just in the toilet. And that's not going to get any better.
Proper, good, long-term storytelling. Chef's kiss. Happy days. Just get rid of Nia Jax, because I don't like her. That's my takeaway from that.
Oh dear.
The fact I also love Bayley doesn't help.
Yeah, Bayley's spinning the wheels a bit. Bayley's always good when she's chasing the title, but when they got it, it's just like, well, she hasn't been that good because she's kind of got it, and it's like quite happens quite a lot to baby faces. They get what they've been chasing, and they go stale quite quickly. Yeah. Cody's managed to ride that quite well, but she unfortunately has not been able to ride it as well.
No, this is true. Actually, I thought Bron Breakker was brilliant. I loved him. I'm here for this. Please just wrestle more.
They've got so many young talent now coming through. He's going to be amazing. Why they don't call him who he really is now and call him Steiner is beyond me. Yeah. But
when they're making all Steiner references, I'm going, I'm fully here for this, because actually it's Big Papa Pump version 2, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so many young talent coming through and getting NXT. Yeah, there's some hokiness on it, but you just watch like Tiffany Stratton, who's come through. Oh, I like her. She's great, and she's come through that and got better and better and better. And you can see these people; they're just churning them out, and it's just like, finally, they're actually starting to build stars rather than just bring in the old guys. Because that's one thing we didn't talk about at WrestleMania review: how many legends were actually wrestling? There's hardly any, really. Because they're starting to churn through these younger talents and stuff, bringing people in. And I think,
that's the thing. They've realised that none of these guys will last forever.
No.
And when WrestleMania, there was always an Undertaker match because it was part of the furniture. And you go, well, that doesn't happen anymore because obviously he's finished now. He's done. So you need people to replace them, and if you're not building them, then in 5 years' time, who have you got? Because actually, all your big names won't be there anymore.
No, they definitely. Gunther will do really well. Obviously, the Braun Breaker and all those kind of people are really pushing it. LA Knight, he's 40 odd, but he's doing really well. He's still really popular. Logan Paul, love him or hate him. He's really good as a heel, and he's only.
I sat there watching and went, "Oh, I hate you so much, but actually you're really good at this. But I don't like the fact you're good at this."
He's really good, and you just think, people, and they've got so many. They can just keep pushing more and more people into those main event spots, and they've got so many options now dotted around.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You look and go, well, like Randy Orton, how long has he really got left? Even like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, you go, well, actually. These guys have been around for a long time.
They've got the John Cena retirement tour, which is the entirety of 2025. So they're going to milk that with so many matches out of that. So, yeah, they make license to print money over and over again.
Stupid question. What's happened with Becky Lynch? Is she still with WWE or is she taking a long-term hiatus?
I think she's supposedly out of contract. She's not going to go anywhere else because that's just... She won't... I think she's taken a hiatus. I don't rate her, though. I think she was good once, but she ain't good anymore. I think she lost her mystique a bit, and she's now trading off that the man gimmick when she... I just don't rate her. I think she was good back then. She was white hot. She was really good. When she beat Ronda Rousey, it was kind of the peak of it, but I don't rate her. Obviously, Charlotte's still injured, so she'll be back at some point.
Yeah. She's been out for ages, hasn't she?
Yeah, damaged, like proper double knee ligament thing. It was really nasty. But then on the flip side, I don't know if you've been following Sasha Banks and her ill-fated debut in AEW. So you had all those
garbage, isn't it?
Yeah, so you had Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks were the 4 horsewomen. And it's really interesting sort of like study of how WWE gets it right, in the sense that they manage people's weaknesses and promote their strengths, and they're very good at doing that. She's now in AEW. Her promos are awful. Her matches aren't great. And she's apparently on some crazy amount of money based off her reputation. But it's kind of exposed her that she's not that good, because WWE were able to manage that whole package. But because she's not got that, she's kind of doing it herself. It's bad, and some of her promos are awful, and you just think, because I remember watching her in NXT when she first debuted, I thought she's great, but she's not good now.
It's the classic of, there are some wrestlers who can have a good match with anyone because they are that talented, they'll make anyone look good.
Yeah.
And if you put an average wrestler with a person who will make you look good, then you will be perfect.
There was that, and I can't remember the guy's name, the famous video. It was released not that long ago, a couple of years ago, where Bret Hart wrestled some developmental guy years and years ago. We're talking like Hulk Hogan era. I can't remember what the guy's name was. And he had such a good match with him that Vince said, this other guy is going to be the next Hulk Hogan. And it was actually Bret Hart making him look good that created that illusion. And he was actually awful, and his other matches were rubbish. But it was the whole point that Bret Hart made him look good. So it is an interesting art to actually make someone look good. Yeah,
the art of selling is an art, and that's the thing. Like, you look at somebody's match and you go, "Oh, that looks painful," and like in the Gunther match where his chest gets busted open, I went, "Oh, that's."
Yeah.
But then when you looked at him, you think, well, actually, he's already got damage there. So has he been pre-prepped? Ready to go, kind of thing.
Yeah, or is it just
or is it actually just training injury? Because obviously you could see all the damage to his chest already. And I thought, oh yes, good times. Politics.
Very quickly, because I'm very conscious of time.
Yeah.
So when we left the Journeys in Politics podcast, Labour had just come into power. Swept in on a whirlwind of positivity. We were joking that Joe Biden wasn't going to do very well in the US election, and Trump was going to win. How times have changed. Things changed quite a lot, because it actually happened the weekend after we released our last podcast.
Yeah, because you texted me and simply went, "He's gone." I'm going, who's gone? What's going on? I went, "Oh God, what is this?"
Oh no, I'm talking about when someone took a shot at Trump. That's what happened first, didn't it?
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, everyone seems to have forgotten about that. There was that first, and then Biden got pushed out.
Oh God, yeah, the assassination attempt. That now people are going, was it even as? Because so it's all the pictures of like the bloody pads on the ears. And then there was a week later, there's a picture of him on that ear, and you go, "There's no damage. Is this a conspiracy? Is it Is it makeup? Is it just a myth? Is it a... I don't know. What is this?
I think for me is we were that close to the world, to things being... It's like they say, it's like these kind of... There's an alternate timeline theory where certain things happen. And if he turned his head any way different, the whole outline of America would be completely different to this.
Yes.
We would be recording this and things would still be not right. Yeah. And I think that's how close it got. And it's kind of like, it kind of makes you think, Jesus, what would have happened if it had gone the other way?
But yeah, it's such a mad thing to have an assassination attempt. And wasn't the guy that did it a bloody Republican as well?
Well, it's weird.
It's so random.
The whole, and yeah, I like conspiracy theories, don't be wrong, I quite like them. But the whole situation is weird. That they still haven't released a motive for it. He obviously did go with the intention of killing him. The Secret Service dropped the ball. I think that's a fact. We know that. There was stuff that was released this week, the body camera, where the local police were actually just effing and jeffing because they were reporting it to the Secret Service and they were doing nothing about it. So I think that's a fact. Someone dropped the ball big time. But yeah, it's all a bit weird, the whole concept of who he was, how he got it. And then there's also talk about this week that there's been no coroner's inquest and stuff like that. His body's just disappeared, and there's all sorts of weird stuff. It's not. The thing is, it's disappeared from the news cycle because of so many other things that happen in America. It's completely disappeared, and that's what I find odd, that it's got pushed down so far that no one's really talking about it anymore.
And I think I've heard about this before, where the fact that an event can be so big, it creates conspiracy theories, like JFK assassination creates, because you cannot believe that one person can change the world. Yeah. Whereas it was Ronald Reagan who was also shot, but there's no conspiracy theories about that at all because he survived. Yeah, but like the Trump one, it's all over the show because it's new. But actually, in years to come, is it going to be a footnote of history, or is it going to be a story? And you think, I don't know. And it's like I saw one story that said, actually, anyone with half a brain and a gun cannot fail that shot.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, because they actually they showed it, and the thing is, they said he wasn't a very good. He wasn't a very good. He was like, he got kicked out of his rifle team because he couldn't shoot very far. Yeah, you think, what? Just kind of the logical part of your brain goes, well, why even attempt it? And he got so lucky so many times. You just think that's just weird in itself. Yeah, you can like see where the conspiracies come from.
And like with the photographs of the ear with no damage, you go, well, if you're shot in the ear and it's this many weeks after, you have physical damage. Just prosthetics and makeup and yada yada yada. I just don't bloody know anymore.
Yeah, it was There's so many things about that. It's just weird.
And I suppose you can see how the rabbit hole starts, can't you? You go, I don't know.
I think the thing is, and it's kind of like a lot of stuff that kicked off in this country, which we'll come to in a minute. If there's no official narrative, people fill the void with whatever they like. And I think that's probably what it is, because quite rightly, they're investigating it. People are just filling the void with all sorts of stuff because that's what they want to fill it with. Yeah, for sure. Then you had Biden stepping down, which was mental. Well, that's interesting in itself. He was pushed out. He's near enough came out and said it last week, didn't he? Nancy Pelosi and et al. Pushed him out and have replaced him with a robot, basically. I'm sorry, I can't stand her. She can't function without a teleprompter. She's had no press interviews. She's done no off-the-cuff speeches. And I'm really interested for this debate because I don't think she's going to be able to cope. Because there was a video that came out last week where she was booed at a rally when she started saying some stuff, and she got really tetchy and was telling the crowd, I'm speaking now like a teacher, and people kept booing her, and she couldn't, this is not on my teleprompter, I cannot function. I think she's the the only valid person they could have picked because there wasn't anybody else. I think, like her predecessor, the press is propping her up at the moment, and she's riding a wave of positivity, which I think is a little biased. And I don't necessarily agree with Trump. I don't get on, but he gets treated very differently to the way she does, and she seems very two-dimensional, and I think if he can land some knockout punches in the debate, she will not be able to fight back.
Because it's so weird, because obviously all the time he was saying, oh yeah, he's the old man, kind of, and now it's all been turned on its head, so he's desperately scrambling for something to land.
Pivoted very well. I'll tell you what, and I'm quite happy to say this out there to it. JD Vance I like him. I don't necessarily agree with some of the stuff he said, but he comes across as really eloquent in the way he speaks, and he has multiple times come out and challenged, especially Tim Waltz, the new VP pick, around his armed forces record, and he comes across, compared to Trump, a lot more palatable. Okay, he's got some right-wing views, don't get me wrong, but he's the future. He is 4 years in the really. Yeah.
I think your news feeds and mine might be slightly different, because my news feed has had nothing positive to say, and actually people are saying that JD Vance will lose Trump the election because he's insane and cannot string a sentence together. And I'm going, this is the algorithm doing its thing.
Because what I try to do with
I'm an
Twitter
old lefty.
is I try to follow both sides, so the algorithm doesn't feed me an echo chamber of what I like, because I want to understand the other side of the argument. And I bought his book because I want to read it, because I want to understand him, because he is interesting. Because I think if Trump wins, he will obviously run in 2028. If Trump doesn't win, he will still run in 2028, unless he's really tarnished by the result. And he, out of all the others, seems the most sanest. I know that's a weird thing to say. But nah, Kamala, she comes across as very two-dimensional. And I think she's been given far too much of a honeymoon period. No one's really challenging anything she's saying. It's like, oh, even the BBC does it. And you think, you need to start pressing her, because Trump gets pressed because he comes and says what he wants. And I think that's where this is a weird thing to say. Even though he comes out with statements that are blatantly untrue, he says what he wants, whereas she is very much, I am reading from this, and if I say anything, I cannot deviate from this script. And when she does, she sounds like she's lost. So he sounds more natural.
We know that she is protected.
She's
in terms
protected
of
by
her appearances, and
the
so there's a whole machine, making sure she is protected.
It's like how Biden was 4 years ago. He was protected by the media.
You've got Trump, who is, for fair or foul, he is a natural showman.
Oh yeah, and he says what he wants to say, and he will say whatever the hell he likes, and it's like sometimes because I thought the shooting had mellowed him, because I was off sick and I watched the entire Republican conference, just followed it, and he came across actually at the conference as very stoic and quite like different, and I thought, well, maybe this has changed him. Then a week later he was back on it again, and it's just like, okay, maybe not. The Hulk Hogan speech is just brilliant. It's so good. It's just, I sat there like, this is brilliant. This is absolute. And he just rips the shirt off, and I think, why they don't do this? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. Like we said, even though it was, Biden got absolutely hammered. This next debate, which is September, isn't it, is going to be one very interesting debate, because it'll be the first time she'll be challenged by anybody, because the thing is, she's not had any sit-down interviews with anybody, and even CNN have not, and it's really weird because Yeah, it feels like there's a whole ring around her because she's got it's the convention this week, isn't it? The DNC.
DNC.
So she's going to get really pushed forward with that. So the thing is, she hasn't actually been. Well, this is the weird thing, and again, this is my double algorithm working for me. She's not been selected by the people. She's only been selected by the elite of the party. The people didn't vote for her. Actually, it was Kennedy went from being a Democrat to an independent. So he was technically the next in line, but because he'd chosen to become an independent, he wasn't eligible. But he would have been next in line after Biden because he was voted by the people. She's not been voted by anybody. And it's really weird. It's like, not Truss. Truss was voted in, wasn't she? Sunak and Johnson are the only
Johnson
were selected by the party. Whereas, they're all selected by the party. No, party members. Truss was voted by the party members. Am I right? Who else was? Theresa May? Maybe not.
Yeah.
I think it was just Liz Truss. It might have just been her. Was the only one voted by the actual party members, and the party members of the Democrats didn't vote for Kamala Harris. It was basically the cabal of the people at the top put her in place, but they couldn't have picked anybody else, so they had to pick her.
No.
So I don't know.
It's a mess, isn't it? And
my view on it is weird.
There's a good chance of her getting obliterated still.
I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close. The actual election will be closer than it was with Biden.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that might save it is all of the horrific things that potentially the Republicans are planning, like the Project 2025 stuff.
But again, I've read some of that, and he's distanced himself on the record from it multiple times and said that he's not involved in it. And I think it is really bad.
Yeah, it's properly toxic, isn't it? You go, Jesus, if this... But the thing is, you go, well, this exists, and you have people putting stuff in place for it to happen. It's basically a, dear President, here's a playbook, enjoy. And you think, Jesus Christ.
I think Trump needs to get himself in order. And if he just concentrates on the basics, which I think he was doing this week, the border, the food, the prices, he'll beat her. Because the borders are things brilliant. So when she was obviously because Twitter now does this thing where it says if a story is false, which is quite good.
Yes.
It works on both sides. So there's a beautiful thing where a person from one of the news agencies tweeted an article saying she was never named the border czar, and Twitter flagged it and said, in this date, this agency producer said it was, and it was the same author from the same media had actually written an article saying she was the border czar, and it was a brilliant kind of. I screenshotted it because it was just beautiful. It was just the press. And it's like, actually, that's pretty funny. That is actually brilliant. Yeah. And he just needs to concentrate on stuff like that, and she just needs to, I think, just focus. The thing is, if her campaign is solely on vote for me because you don't want Trump, that's not going to work. She needs to be canny enough.
Yeah.
Because he's now cleverly, and I don't know why they don't do it here in this country. I suppose it's a slightly different system. Has cleverly started coming out with, well, why are you saying vote for me and I'll do this? Why don't you do it now? Kind of stuff. And actually, that's really clever. And no other US, because we've never had like in our generation, have never had a situation like this where the two people running for president. Oh no, have we? I'm thinking of, because it's 2 terms, isn't it? And then the one drops out. But it's never been like this where it's only been 1 term president. It's never been this way. So it's slightly different. But the 2 terms is different. But yeah. Well, we never had it where we've had an incumbent going up against a pre-president. Yeah. That's never happened before. So that's an interesting thing in itself. No, I've just, I'm really interested still. The debate, again, is going to make or break a lot of this, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess in a spectacular way. And then we have here.
Oh, good God, talk about a mess.
On fire.
Yeah.
Figuratively and literally, based on the weather recently.
2-tier Kia, as he's now known.
Yeah.
Actually, can I say that? Lesson? Can I say that? Am I allowed to say it now? Because apparently what we say on social media is now being monitored. And if someone deems it to be inappropriate, you might get arrested. It's all a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
I don't know where you start with. We ain't got time, really, other than my observation is, writing, shouldn't have done it. Lots of people say nasty things that aren't true on both sides. But I think Starmer and the government are not focusing on the root cause of the problem. They're only dealing with the symptoms. No, they're dealing with the symptoms. They're not dealing with the cause of the problem. And until they acknowledge that there is a problem that they need to fix, the symptoms are going to keep happening. Yeah,
if you start arresting people for what they say, what they write, the old idea of thought police and the whole 1984 idea,
it's worrying, isn't it?
You go, no, you need to deal with root causes. And actually, the whole concept of a free society is the ability to say whatever crass crap you want to, but for there to be consequences to it, and for the other side to tell you that you're a dickhead when you do it. Yeah. And this is the thing. If you just go, oh, you can't say that, it offends someone, who gives a shit? The idea is you cannot be protected from being offended. You need to have the freedom to go, actually, I think this, and you can debate me on what I am saying.
This is exactly,
and that's the whole purpose. You go, actually, I am entitled to my opinion. However, that does not protect me from being having people defend what they believe is different to my opinion. And this is the whole concept. You go, yes, I am entitled to believe what I want to believe, but I'm also entitled to tell someone if I think they're wrong. And that's the whole idea. If your idea and mentality does not gel with mine, you should be able to debate it, have a conversation, be a grown-up about it.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing because there's lots of root causes to these problems, and I think, and unfortunately, I can see people's point of view that see all these people, rightly or wrongly, mostly rightly, being arrested with crazy sentences based on what they've written on Facebook, and yet you've got other things where people are not being arrested or not being dealt with, and you can see why people are getting angry. And Keir Starmer doesn't seem to want to reach out to those communities to fix it. And the likes of Reform are jumping on that and saying, well, we told you so. And you've got a point. They've got a point.
And this is the thing, like we said, the centre ground is the missing link at the moment. You're either left or you're right. There is no centre to be part of. It's I always joke and say I'm an old lefty, but actually I like the centre and I like being left. And you go, well, there is no centre. You're either with me or against me.
Yeah,
and this is the problem. You can't do this. You need to bring, and the old classic, bring people together, because otherwise you're just going to tear them apart. Yeah,
and also this whole London-centric kind of view of the world has crept in again. Neither of us live in London, and it's very much a lot of these communities that are involved in the riots were not based in London. They were based in white working class communities, which was Labour's bread and butter. And I watched quite a few videos from people who were saying that Labour have abandoned us. And where are all these people going to go? They're not going to go to Conservatives. They're only going to go to Reform as a protest.
It depends on what the Conservative 2.0 looks like.
Because they've been, obviously for obvious reasons, been very quiet. So the vacuum has been filled by Nigel Farage because there is no other opposition, really. Because Lib Dems have towed the line. So there's no other voices out there except for Nigel and Farage, who's come out, obviously, and spoken what he wants to say. So,
and again, like just before we finish, like one of Labour's early votes was the 2-child benefit cap. And they said, this is a 2-line whip kind of thing, or 3-line whip, whatever it is. You will vote for it. And all the people that didn't, they said, whip removed, see you later. Yeah. And you go, oh, guys, I can see what you're trying to do and stamp your authority, but it's a choice, and it's bold, and it might bite you on the arse.
And you can see the budget. There's going to be a tax rise somewhere. So that'll be their first their first lie, basically, that we're not going to raise taxes. They're going to raise taxes because they could see it happening. So,
and to be fair to them, the country's broke, and the only way to do it is cut costs, which is austerity 3.0, or raise taxes, or both.
I think the thing is they ran the election on not raising taxes, and that's what will irk people even more, especially if it's hitting working class people again. I don't know. I think the riot thing's stopped. I don't think that's going to happen. But if they pursue this very draconian way of dealing with social media, because obviously Elon Musk has had this spat with Keir Starmer this week, and he's not going to toe the line. He won't bend the knee, I think, like he said, like the other companies are, which is really interesting. Because if you remember 4 years ago, Twitter was managed very differently to what it is now. It's a very different beast, and it's like, it's very interesting.
Isn't there talk of like the EU banning Twitter?
Because he won't toe the line in the EU either. So, but are we?
But the EU are big enough to tell him to go fuck himself.
But we're not in the EU, and that always confuses me anyway, in terms of what rules still apply, what rules don't.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. So
we know that Twitter is a cesspool. That's part of its charm. You always need to dip your finger in the fire and have a little taste occasionally.
It always has been, and I think, rightly or wrongly, they did censor far too much, and it got over the top in what they were suppressing and who they were suppressing it for. I think what Elon Musk has done is gone too far in trying to rewrite that.
Yeah. But then again, isn't there the old joke of if you type in cisgender into Twitter, it flags it as bloody hate speech, or I don't like this word, therefore you can't post it. And you're going, mate, it's one or the other.
It's gone too far.
It's either everything goes or nothing goes. You can't have both.
Yeah, so I genuinely don't know where it's going to go. It's interesting because we didn't think this was going to happen 6 weeks ago. We thought it'd be all smiles and rainbows and just get on with it. No, the streets are on fire.
Well, I think it was literally 4 days after the election, the first newspaper articles were saying, "Oh, Labour's in the shit already," and you're going, "Guys, they've literally haven't even picked a cabinet yet. Come on, behave." And you can see the right wing part of the media. The knives were out instantly as soon as the election was called. Yeah. And on that note.
We've gone for an hour and a half. What is going on? We need to do more regular podcasts that are shorter, not stay off. Or the world just needs to calm down while we're not broadcasting.
Yeah. Dear world, if we go on hiatus, just go on pause. That's all you need to do. Just get a little pause. We needed a break.
We need to look at the world events and plot our podcast around it. So we need to make sure we're around at the end of November. We need to make sure we're around. Don't know what else is going to happen. I have to look at all the map it out.
Yeah. Well, we need to be around soon so I can just rage for an hour about the Crow.
Oh yes, definitely. We'll just do a special episode on anger.
Just Matt shouting for an hour. Why do I hate you so much? Yeah, the old man shouts at clouds won't be like visceral enough. It will just be bile for an hour.
I'm sorry. So much. I'm sorry. The Matt was arrested in a preemptive strike before he got a chance to see the Crow, so now he's even more angry.
Yes. Yeah. I will see that film and I will make it pay. Dear. Yes. Again, dear listeners, government or Twitter or whoever, I don't mean any of this. This is a character, all right? I'm sorry. It's
too late. The bots have been listening.
Yeah.
The bot in your phone is now
joking aside, next time, dear listener.
Don't know what we're going to do. It's coming to the end of the summer, so it'll be September soon. So,
who knows?
Maybe we should do a TV episode, because I've been watching a load of TV as well recently, which we didn't even talked about. So maybe we'll just been like that.
Yeah. We'll be back. We'll talk about something other than Matt being angry and the world being on fire.
Fair enough. I think we'll end on that note.
Indeed.
Cheerio.
Don't arrest me. I didn't mean it. Goodbye.
Bye.